Hello book nerds, this is Gabby and welcome back to my channel. So we have a winner. I found a new favorite for my all-time favorite books list, and that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. We picked this one for our May read-along in our Discord server, Dragon's Library Book Club. We make a read-along every month, and this was the pick for the month of May. And I loved it. This was good. This was so good. But before we jump into a review, don't forget to hit the bell and click on the subscribe button if you don't want to miss any content from me in the future. Jade City is book 1 in the Greenbone saga by Fonda Lee. We have 2 books out already and one to come later this year. And it was such a ride. This is a Asian-inspired urban fantasy with very Godfather-esque vibes. It's a mafia-based story in a fantasy setting. This book is so different from what I'm used to read. I tend to read more epic fantasy and I love it, but it felt so good to step aside from that a little bit and get into this modern-ish metropolitan area world. We have cars here, we have guns, we move around mainly in the city of Janloon that is corrupted, is controlled almost entirely by mafia, by 2 main clans called No Peak and The Mountain. The mafia here works with the government, like happens in almost every mafia that has a lot of power over economics and politics. Each clan has some politicians that are loyal to them, and they are mainly who control the extraction and trade of jade, which is the most important asset in this world and also the base of the magic system. So everything in this world revolves around jade, as you can guess from the title. Jade as a magic system is really interesting. You can wear jade and it gives you powers. It enhances your senses, your physical powers, gives you the power to channel your energy to another person or deflect it. There are a lot of different uses to jade that you just can't get from the right bloodline and a lot of training. This magic system is not really well explained, so if you're a magic system junkie and you like the magic to be explained to you really thoroughly, this might disappoint you in that way. The most interesting thing about magic based on jade here is that it's not as easy as just put on jade bracelets or necklaces or earrings or just like encrusting stones in your body. You have to be prepared for it. You have to train for years to be able to use jade, and even then you need to have the right immunity in your body to be able to use it without going mad or getting jade fever or even die. It sort of works like a drug as well. If you wear too much jade and then they take it away from you, you have jade withdrawal and you have this feeling of abstinence for a very long time, and it's not pretty. I love this magic mainly because, one, I have a thing for gemstones, and second, because I am a sucker for magic systems that have consequences on the users, that you pay a price to be able to use this magic. So the plot is basically warfare between the clans. There's a lot of tension that's been building up between them for years, and it's about to explode. And we follow our main 3 characters, Hilo, Shay, and Lan. They are 3 brothers that belong to one of the clans, and at first they feel like stereotype, sort of cliche characters, but they're not. They're so incredibly crafted. They're very distinct from one another. Hilo, for instance, is this muscle of the clan. He's very aggressive, and you first feel like he just wants to beat people up, and he is not very rational. But there's so much depth to him. Lan is a more level-headed, that has more responsibilities. He has to be more diplomatic. He runs the show in a very unique way that fits his character perfectly, while Shay is seems to be just this typical rebel that doesn't want to be so much in the family business, but she goes back to the city after running away, and she tries to stay away, but she also feels drawn to her family because in mafia there's a lot of over the top loyalty within the family, within the clans, and it's so well executed. I feel like our characters, not just our main three, but other characters that we meet along the way, they are very distinct from one another. They have their own voices, and I never felt like they were acting out of character just because of plot. They felt real, and I love that. I just realized that I forgot to talk about relationships in this book, which are so well crafted. The dynamics between the three brothers, their dynamics between them and their grandfather, who used to be the patriarch, the Vito Corleone of the party, and he has to let his grandchildren to run the show now, and that leads to a lot of conflict. The subtleties, the corruption, the political maneuvers, both between the clans and the clans with the government, how they control them, is so well done. I really feel like Fonda Lee did a masterful job researching organized crime. Also, Fonda Lee doesn't back away from taking risks. There are real stakes in here. Our characters are really in danger, and I fear for them. I hate when I'm reading books where characters are in a war or fighting or are in danger, but I know that they're gonna get away with it. That doesn't happen here. Fonda Lee is very brutal with her characters, and I really appreciate that because I get the feeling I dread when they go to a fight, because I know that they can really get hurt. But after all this gushing, I need to point out some flaws in this book that didn't bother me so much, but it could bother other people, so let's get on with it. First, the beginning. The beginning is pretty slow. It didn't bother me because I really enjoyed the setting and the building up the characters. But the first chunk of the book, and by chunk I mean 150 pages, sort of, it's really slow. Fonda Lee takes her time with her world building and her character build. And my friends of the Discord were discussing that it took a little bit longer for them to get invested in the book because of this. And another thing is that for hardcore fantasy fans, magic system junkies, they could feel a little bit disappointed because the magic system isn't really well explained here, and sometimes the use of Jade doesn't feel like magic but more like a drug. So, but it's not really a con, but it can bother some people. I've been rambling on and on for ages. My throat hurts. I will need to do a lot of editing, and it was just spoiler free. That's why I wanted to invite you guys. Tomorrow we're hosting a live show with my friends from the Discord server. We're gonna talk and discuss about Jade City, spoiler filled. So if you want to tune in, set a reminder. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, and if you're watching this after the show, I will put the link up there so you can check it out if you want. Anyway, that was my spoiler-free gush review of Jade City. I would love to keep chatting with you about it in the comments. Let me know what are your thoughts on this book, if you read it or if you want to read it. I really hope I convince you to pick up this book because I loved it so much. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the future.